What's up, everybody? Welcome to what is going to be a legendary, never before done edition of Hand and Brain. Danny Rensch here along with Noland Arbaugh. Noland, thanks for doing this.
No, thanks for having me. I'm sorry for Robert being on my team, but it's going to be fun.
These guys are going to team up on their dubious openings while Canty and I do the thing we do, which is destroy those openings.
So we do.
What exactly is the Neuralink, and what is it that you're doing here with your mind and the superpowers that I see on the screen?
So the Neuralink is a brain-computer interface, which means it's a chip that's in my brain that translates, right now it's motor cortex movements into movement control on a computer. It's pretty sweet. I can control the computer with my mind.
It's amazing, it's fascinating. We're gonna talk a lot about it, and we'd love to hear even more about your story. And we're gonna, okay, pawn. I forget what your opening repertoire is. Right?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Play whatever you like, Danny.
Right?
Whatever you want to play.
Okay.
Okay, we'll go there.
Wow, Carol Khan. So, but you don't watch Levy videos. You
I
can
don't.
say it, we're recording.
I don't. Yeah, no, sorry, Levy.
I'd love to know a little bit more about, if you don't mind, the story of how we got here a little bit.
A little over 8 years ago, right after my senior year of college, I was in an accident while working at a summer camp. I dislocated my C4, C5, and I was paralyzed from my shoulders down, so I'm a complete quadriplegic. 7 years, I was just trying to make my life better, do whatever I could to improve myself. Mainly at the end of that, like the last 2 years, I was really trying to find some way to add some meaning to my life and, you know, do whatever I could to make the world a better place in a lot of cases. Get back to school, maybe, really anything. And then this opportunity came along. I had known nothing about Neuralink when it happened. My buddy, Greg Bain, called me on the phone and was like, hey, do you want to get a chip in your brain? And I was like, sure, man, why not? Just kind of jokingly.
For the record, I knew nothing about Neuralink until you. Yeah. So just so you know.
Yeah, I had no idea. And so he called me on the phone, walked me through like what it was, gave me a 5-minute rundown of it. Then he helped me apply over the phone. So I kind of gave him all the information and he filled it out online. He spelt my name wrong on the application. So, you know, we're off to a great start. I asked for an Iron Man suit on the application, just kind of joking around because, you know, I had applied for studies before. Like a few years prior, I'd put my name in a huge database and I told them what I was looking for, trying to do like spinal cord injury stuff. And I never heard back from anyone, like not even a peep. So when I was applying for Neuralink, I was like, there's no way I'm gonna get this. I didn't hear back from like a massive database of thousands of studies, and this is so high profile, I just didn't think it was gonna happen, which is why I made so many jokes on there. But no, within like a day or two, I heard back from Neuralink. In the next month, I did probably a dozen interviews. I had, you know, all sorts of testing done. And within 2 months, I was chosen as a candidate, and a month later, the first candidate, and within a few weeks, I was getting brain surgery.
Wow, that escalated quickly.
Yeah, within a few months, yeah.
I'm gonna let you make a move. I have a follow-up question. If you guys have questions, please do jump in at different points. You said you applied for so many different studies, different opportunities, like, and then you applied for Neuralink jokingly and thinking you wouldn't have a chance. Like, how did that go for you? Like, not just dealing with the rejection, but was there ever like a losing hope in terms of what opportunities might come to you? And also, I have a simultaneous question, which is, was there any risk to you? I mean, you're like, these things are cutting edge technology, right? You don't always know how it's gonna work out. So, one, how did you feel in terms of putting yourself out there and not getting those opportunities? And was there ever a part of you that was scared of the risk that might come with putting a chip in your head?
Yeah, it kind of sucked not being chosen for things in a way, like given the time of day with these studies. I thought I was a fairly good candidate for a lot of these things. I was young when I had my accident, I was 22. So in a lot of these studies, it's better to have younger candidates. I think the only thing that probably disqualified me was a lot of times with these like spinal cord injury studies and things, they want people who are more recent injuries, and I think I had applied like 5 or 6 years in, so maybe not the best time. I also like not been the healthiest person in the world. I was like smoking at the time, and I had still been like drinking a bit. So I cut all of that out a couple years before Neuralink because I just wanted to get my life on track. I was like, this is not, you know, the time to just be doing these things. I need to figure something out with my life. And so I cut it all out, and that's probably a huge reason why I got the Neuralink study, is because I started to make healthier decisions and everything. Letting Neuralink put a chip in my brain was, it gave me a little bit of pause. I had a lot of my friends who I told about it telling me not to do it. Just putting chip in my brain, having brain surgery. As a quadriplegic, my brain is kind of the last thing I have. So letting someone go in and root around it it's daunting for sure. But ultimately I wanted to help people, and I knew that anything that I would do in the study, even if something went wrong, which, like you said, it's a novel technology sort of. There have been brain-computer interfaces for a couple decades, but this is obviously like leaps and bounds above everything else out there, and it's much different. There was a lot of risk involved in the consent form that I signed. There were about 50 to 100 risks involved and no benefits, because they can't promise me anything. It's a voluntary study. They can't say like you're gonna get this and this out of it. But there was a laundry list of negative side effects and things that could happen, risks involved. So I had to read all of them. I gave it to my mom, and she decided not to read many of them because it terrified her. But it was something that I knew I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to help people, I knew I wanted to make a difference. Even if something went terribly wrong, I knew that it would make things better for the next person that came along. So yeah, it was always something that I knew I wanted to do once I was given the chance.
It's amazing. I'm gonna let Robert tell you what he wants to do.
Let's move at night. But I also was gonna ask you that if you had an opportunity to apply for Neuralink, say, earlier, like sooner after the accident, do you think that that's something you would have done?
Yeah, probably. That's part of the reason why I applied for those studies beforehand, was because ultimately I want to make my life better. That's why I applied for those spinal cord injury studies, was because, it's a lot of technology about curing spinal cords, about different ways in which it might make my life better. And so Neuralink is definitely one of those ways. Just having the Neuralink has made me more independent by probably an order of magnitude. So it's definitely something that I think I would have applied for beforehand. Honestly, I think if I would have applied any sooner, I wouldn't have been selected, because like I said, I wasn't living the healthiest lifestyle. It just happened to work out where when their human trials opened up and when I applied, I had been, I'd stopped smoking for I think like a year and a half or 2 years at that point. So I think everything had basically cleared out of my system, and I don't really drink anymore. So a lot of things lined up. Personally, I think it's a God thing. I think that everything happens for a reason, and that the timing was just perfect. I've always been this kind of person that wants to do these things and is pretty rash, honestly, in a lot of ways. So, getting brain surgery, I was like, yeah, I might as well. Maybe a lot of other people would have given it a bit more pause, but I definitely think I gave it my due diligence. Like, all joking aside, I thought about it a lot. Okay, let's go there.
That's good. So I have to say, like, hearing you talk is just so inspiring. What do you attribute the positive mindset and perspective you had? I mean, there are so many people who would tell the story. You were 22, super active, freak accident. You're now a quadriplegic, right? And what do you do to stay positive in that?
It's a few different things. First and foremost, my faith, I think, is a huge part of that. I remember after my accident, I was talking with one of my best friends, and I told him that I think having my accident makes me believe even more that there's a God. Because I wasn't on the greatest path, trajectory. I was not living the best life. I was, just not in a great place. And I think that in a lot of ways, this accident saved me in many different ways. And he said the exact opposite. He said that after seeing what happened to me, he believes there's a God even less. I don't know. It's just something that never really crossed my mind, about not trying to be positive and think that God had some sort of plan for my life. But then also a huge part of it, probably more than anything else, is my family and my friends. My mom was in the hospital with me basically day one and didn't leave me for 3 months while I was in the hospital after my accident. My parents travel everywhere with me, and they've always been so supportive of me. They've given me every opportunity to succeed. My friends didn't leave my mom alone for 1 minute while she was in the hospital, or even like when we got home, there was always friends around. I think I've been extremely blessed with the support system that I've had around. And that, you know, it always gives me something to look forward to. They were always visiting and kind of in spurts, and, you know, they stagger it, so there was kind of always someone around. I think that made a huge difference. And then I just honestly like fell into this a little bit too easily. It's weird. It's very weird. I don't understand it at all, how easily I accepted this and just sort of moved on and said, okay, well, like even the moment I had my accident, I remember waking up face down in the water and I realized I couldn't move. And there was not panic. It was not, you know, thrashing around. It was just sort of a acceptance, like, okay, I can't move. Obviously I'm paralyzed, what do I do? And just like moving on from there. And that's kind of my whole outlook. I've never been a stressful person. I always used to tell people, like, why would you stress about that? Just don't. And obviously,
really good advice.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying
yeah,
that.
it's not great advice. People are like, yeah, that's not how it works. You can't just not stress.
You're right.
So that's always how I've been. And I think that I fell into this, I accepted it. I was never like super depressed. I remember they had me on like antidepressants and all sorts of things, and I got off them because I said I don't need them. I'll figure this out basically on my own. It just all kind of came naturally to me, which is a weird thing to say when you're talking about being, you know, paralyzed and quadriplegic.
Let's go with a pawn. And I actually have another question for you because, you know, and I'll let you make the move first because, you know, that's a tough decision to make. There are many pawns left. I'm sorry. Don't grimace. Don't grimace. You're doing great.
Grimace.
Yeah.
Grimace.
Oh, no.
100%. We love you, Noland.
What I was going to ask you was, you know, and you do these interviews, you talk a lot about the accident. I guess, you know, you were just mentioning how close you are with your family and your friends.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like, what is Noland like? What are your favorite foods? What are your favorite movies? I know you're a big football fan. We're talking fantasy football, but, you know, just what are some of your just interests just on a regular daily basis?
The first thing that anyone who knows me would say when you ask me about food is how much I like ketchup. I eat ketchup on everything, and I eat way too much ketchup on everything.
So people like you, do you like ketchup on eggs? I feel like that's a very
Yes.
controversial
Yep.
one.
Ketchup on eggs. I eat ketchup on pizza.
Ketchup on noodles.
I'll eat ketchup on noodles. It's not like I don't need it, but I would. I absolutely would. I mean, it's tomato sauce.
So ketchup is the staple of
Yeah. I'm super easy. Pizza, burgers. Like I went to a steakhouse, a super nice steakhouse with a bunch of my Samoan family like a week ago, and I asked for a burger because I was like, oh, I've never been a steak person, but you guys make me a hamburger. And they're like, they just gave me this look like, yeah, I guess we can do that. Obviously, I'm a big sports guy. I played every sport under the sun growing up. So like I'm super athletic. I get that from my mom. She played everything as well. I'm a big like movie person. I got into, I guess, when I was in college, I got into like a lot of Japanese culture, so like anime, manga, things like that. So I watch a ton of that.
Attack on Titan.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan.
Dude, I love AOT.
No, the first season was great. After that, I was like, yeah, I don't care.
But that was kind of what the story arc was about, though. It was about like it not being what you thought it was in the beginning.
Bad?
I mean, that's not what it was at all. I mean,
Yeah.
okay, the majority of manga fans would disagree with you on this
That's
one.
true.
AOT is okay.
That's true. I understand a lot of people like it, but a lot of people are wrong.
As a couple of Arizona boys, we may have just found the first thing we strongly disagree on.
Yeah, that's
and,
okay.
All right, we're gonna come back to this one. Continue.
Okay. Yeah, so I do a lot of that. Like I said, I'm a big movie person, big TV show. Obviously, since my accident, I've gotten my fair share of like movies and TV because it was one of the few things I could do very easily. But I'm a big reader. I read a lot of fantasy. I want to write someday. Like I kind of do write now, but it's been a little difficult. Neuralink has helped me a ton with being able to write again. I just like doing everything. I love traveling, which is just crazy. I never thought I'd be able to do it again after my accident. And being here, like I can't thank Chess.com enough for making this happen. Like it blows my mind that y'all would even want to do something like this for me. It's crazy. And I'm just so thankful. But like I said, I love traveling, and I just want to enjoy as much as I can and do as much as I can.
We're pretty grateful that you made the trip and that you were as excited about it as we are. So we, likewise, the feeling is mutual. I want to build, I'm gonna let you make a move, and I want to build on the question Robert asked about, you mentioned you said you had a lot of time with movies and now you have the Neuralink. I want to talk a little bit more about the other things you do that aren't just chess, without necessarily leaving the chess screen. I know we're playing a chess game here, putting on a show, but I don't know. I mean, this is already an amazing experience to watch, and I would love to know, if you can, without being a neuroscientist, I don't think you are, right? But how does it work, right? In terms of connecting to your eyes and what you see. I would just love to know a bit of a high level, what's going on here and what are some of the things you can do?
Yeah, so right now I just have control of the computer, you can connect to other things. Basically how it works is they implanted a chip in my brain with threads with electrodes on them. The electrodes are placed in my motor cortex, specifically on the left side of my brain in the motor cortex that controls the right hand, because that's the strongest signals that they did. They did a functional MRI, which basically is an MRI real time, which I would try to move body parts and it pops up on the screen. They're like, okay, this is the strongest signal that we get. Essentially, everything in my brain still works. All the signals still work. It's just the signals don't make it to my body because of my spinal cord injury. There was a disconnect. So when I try to move a body part, it'll pick up those signals, and then on the Neuralink side, on the app that they created, it will learn my intention. So it'll learn, okay, he's trying to move left, right, up, down with his right hand, and then it'll translate that to cursor control through machine learning. So an algorithm learns basically all of this over time, and then it moves a cursor. Very simply, but kind of not so simply. That's basically what I do on a daily basis with the Neuralink. I just train it over and over again, and it learns, and I learn from it, it learns from me.
I never knew that part of it. That's fascinating. So there's machine learning technology in there that is getting even more dialed into your tendencies, what you like. So the algorithm is more fine-tuned the more you use it.
Yeah, exactly. And Neuralink is always working on the software side. They're constantly changing things, okay, how can we tweak this in order to make it a little better? They're constantly learning what works and what doesn't work.
Are they listening to this conversation?
No, it's, I hope not.
I was just gonna say, are they listening to?
They told me no, but we never know. And then I do a lot on here. I, play video games with this. I play a pretty complicated video game called Civilization. Sid Meier's Civ.
Love Civ.
Yeah,
Back
so
in
I
the
play
day.
Civ 6.
I see some tabs. You're learning languages. You got Twitter open over here. So what's a quick day for Noland?
Yeah, so recently I've started to try and get back into my learning, which is what I was doing before Neuralink. I was spending 8-10 hours a day just trying to learn things. So I'm learning French and Japanese right now. I've started to relearn my math from the ground up because I want to go back to school. I read a lot, so I'm reading some C.S. Lewis right now. I'm reading a book by Timothy Keller. I'm also listening to some Brandon Sanderson, The Way of Kings, and I think I'm on book 3 right now. So I do that.
That's the Wheel of Time guy,
No,
right?
well, he did the last 3 books of the Wheel of Time. I just finished that a couple months ago, all 15 books. It was awesome. It was very, very good. He's doing the Stormlight Archives. That's what it's called right now. But he's the most famous fantasy author in the world right now. What else? Obviously, I work with Neuralink every day for Monday through Friday. I work with them at least 4 hours. Just try new things all the time. I'm trying to push the boundaries of this, trying to show Neuralink what it's capable of. Now that we have a P2, another participant, he's already shown things that I didn't ever think about doing. He's working with CAD, and he was playing some Team Fortress, I think, or Team Tactics, maybe it is. I can't remember, which is super cool. So I was like, can I do that? And so they uploaded the stuff on here for me. Obviously, I'm a much better texter nowadays with Neuralink, so I'm able to hold conversations a lot. I'm in a football fantasy league like we've talked about. I'm in a baseball fantasy league, which is daily. I'm constantly just checking that and having to switch stuff. Yeah, go D-backs. So yeah, there's a lot that I do every day with it, and I try to do more and more.
Amazing. We're gonna let you do some more moves here.
Yeah, sorry, did I answer everything?
I think.
Favorite chess openings, Nolan, go.
London and Caro-Kann.
Oh,
London and Caro-Kann, yeah.
Against black d4, what do you play?
I would play d4, probably well, it depends on what they play. Like if I play against a London, the like copycat or with the Slav,
Okay.
that's probably what I would play.
So Slav. Oh yeah, Slav actually will fit you very well with your Caro-Kann because you can play c6, move 1 against everything, which help you out pretty good.
And when did you start playing chess?
So I played when I was growing up a bit. I was on my chess team in high school. I was the captain of the chess team, not because I was the best, just because probably I was the most put together. Chess people sometimes, especially in my high school, it was like herding cats. A little
I
hard.
can't imagine. I don't know what that's like.
Yeah, but it was a lot of fun. Very small group of guys. I think there were like maybe 6 or 7 of us. Also, no one else wanted to speak during pep rallies except for me. So that's probably why they gave me the C. That's when I started playing. I think I fell in love with it because I remember the first time I ever saw a chessboard. My dad had this beautiful glass chess set, and I saw it, and something about it just really, really intrigued me, fascinated me. I was just awestruck with it. So I learned chess from there. Like I said, played in high school, and then I was okay, nothing spectacular. And then after my accident, it was something that I could really sink my teeth into. Like I said, it was one of the few things I was able to do after my accident. I finally got into the chess world, following the chess championships and all the different tournaments that were going on. And man, it is so much fun. I'm so glad that I did, so I know all the storylines that are going on right now. I can't imagine being here and just not having any idea what's going on. So I'm really, really thankful that I did all that. And obviously I've gotten a lot better in the last few years. I've kind of plateaued because I haven't been able to study, but now that I have the Neuralink, hopefully once I have some time, I'll reach some goals that I've set for myself. So yeah, we'll see.
Who's your favorite player?
All time? I mean, I think because I came into chess kind of with the chess world so late, I became a bandwagon Magnus fan.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know all time. Mikhail Tal.
Oh man, get this guy a membership.
You guys just connected.
Man, what?
That's sparks. What? The sparks just flew
That's
here.
Crazy.
Oh my gosh, I can feel that.
Wow, that's nice, man. Favorite streamer?
I like Alex Benzia.
Oh, you like Alex and Benzia? Yeah, he's great.
Benzia. Yeah, I think he's freaking hilarious. I don't know, his sense of humor is just so funny. I watch Chess Bros a lot. Agad Matter. Do you guys know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Is that how you say it? Yeah.
Also, I didn't realize you two were wearing matching shirts.
That's right. Of course. I mean, this is not a game. You know what I mean? Come on,
we
man.
did not coordinate.
I didn't realize that.
This feels unfair. Why didn't we get matching shirts?
But we did this psychically, man. We did this brainwaves here.
It's all here.
You know?
We on the Nolan. You know what I'm saying? We on the Nolan, bro.
We're communicating with the Nolan here, but you told us how you started chess. We've heard you talk about how important chess was to you at different times, but it wasn't always great, as you've talked about, at times where you really leaned on chess, and chess was kind of there for you as a thing. So tell us a little bit about that. When did chess become something that was super important to you during this whole process?
Chess was one of the only games I could play, one of the only things I could do after my accident. It's really hard to do things as a quadriplegic, I guess. Before Neuralink, I was using what's called a mouth stick and a quad stick. A mouth stick is literally just a stick I hold in my mouth with a little conductive piece of fabric on the end, which I could use to like on my phone or a iPad. I use my iPad a lot, so I would just play chess on my iPad constantly. But the thing with that is, I can only play for so long because I have to worry about my body and getting pressure sores and things, which isn't it's not great. It really sucks. So, chess just became something that I could do and something that I, loved doing. I can play for hours and hours and hours, even if I'm on tilt for half of it and hating the fact that I just played for 8 hours and barely broke even with my rating and things. I can be so frustrated at the game, and then I find myself just thinking about it all night, and next day wanting to get back on and trying to do better. There's a lot to be said for being in control of how good I am and how well I do, there's a lot of, room for like upward mobility in this. And the amount of time that you put in is, how much you're going to get back from the game. And I love that so much. I've just had a really good time with chess, and it became, something that I just fell in love with all over again after my accident. And being able to, watch all of the, Chess.com stuff, it's been amazing. I love like watching all the tournaments. I love watching like the championships and things. It's so great. I constantly have it on in my room. When I miss stuff, like I miss a whole tournament because of Neuralink, I turn it on 1.5 speed and I just like watch through it all. Listening to you guys on 1.5 speed is super fun.
Just a word of advice, she doesn't Danny like on 5 times space. You have to miss everything he has to say.
My wife just turns it off. I mean, I asked her yesterday, she's like, I watched the first couple games and I couldn't take it. And I was like, what is it that we're doing here? Okay, that's a different relationship conversation. Yeah. Maybe the most serious question I can ask, especially since you just played the best move on the board. When the Neuralink news first hit, and I'm sure for you at this point, it's like a wild storm, right? But the chess community's reaction that was in many ways sort of given fire by a tweet from Levy Rosman, Gotham Chess, was that chess is over, referencing cheating, referencing obviously the idea that what would stop Neuralink from putting in a chess computer, I mean, Stockfish is easily put in, and the idea that that would be in some way ability to recommend a move to you that wouldn't be necessarily visible or detectable in any way. Like, without knowledge of things, often that's what makes people more paranoid or more worried about conspiracies. This is the truth, right? So what could you tell us about this?
Right now, it's definitely not possible. Right now, the Neuralink only reads, it doesn't write. What I mean by that is it can read my intentions, it can read my movements in my motor cortex. It can't like make me move. It can't input stuff into my brain to make me move or anything. It's just not possible. So if you think about something like Stockfish AlphaZero being put in a Neuralink, it wouldn't be able to send messages into my brain. People are always like, is Elon Musk just like constantly streaming, I don't know, like Rick Astley into your mind right now? He's constantly getting rickrolled. It's just not happening. Now in the future, when they're trying to do different things with the Neuralink, I think it is a real possibility that the Neuralink will be able to write onto the brain. I think that's something that is, reality that could happen at some point. One of the first things that comes to mind is helping the blind, because there are ways to use a Neuralink in order to help the blind see, and they're already working on it. And so that's writing onto the brain. In some form. Now, I know that Elon wants to do things more like being able to, like real-time translate stuff. So there will no longer be a language barrier between people. Like someone speaks to you in one language and the Neuralink is just translating it and like real-time inputting words and then outputting into your brain, like telling you like what it's saying and then translating that back. So I think it's going to be possible one day. I know that that's the plan, is to do things along these lines. So as far as, having a chess engine on the Neuralink, I think it's possible, but at the same time, I don't think it would be that hard to mitigate. I don't think it would be that hard to control because like the Neuralink sends out a signal. All you would have to do is like make sure it's off. If someone had a computer or something right next to them while playing a game, you would know that, hey, they're probably cheating. You could literally just kill all the electronics in the place and they wouldn't be able to use it. You would be able to detect signals. You would be able to detect, a Bluetooth signal, because that's what I use with Neuralink. So I don't think it's that much of an issue. Maybe in online chess, but I'm sure there are ways to work around that. It is something that I think like as that day comes, we'll find the solution.
Makes sense, and we are already in some ways prepared for that day. It's we have a security firm here that is detecting all types of signals in different radius, both when they're actively being sent and when they're not. And they are expensive, for the record, but they're very good at what they do. And I went on record with the media, was like, hey, I can say this is the most secure chess event that has ever existed, and we feel confident in that. I think that the idea that having the ability to track these signals, knowing that this is sort of a similar technology, makes humans feel safer for a little longer. But did you ever have any fears of that like you were getting into something that you just, no takebacks and you didn't know what was ahead? Like what happens if the Neuralink becomes something that they're like, hey, we now want it to tell you what to do? I know that's crazy. That's science fiction stuff. Like, that was just like, hey, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's something that a lot of people have brought up, you know, Skynet, mind control.
Yeah.
I understand that things like this are possibilities. You
Will
never
you be
know.
our John Connor if Skynet becomes self-aware?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'd much rather be the Terminator.
Okay.
I'd much rather be on the winning side of the war. Hopefully be their overlord, their supreme leader.
Yeah.
So y'all better get on my good side. That's all I'm trying to say. I understand that, you know, some of these things they're beyond my, like I have no idea. I don't know like the solutions. I don't know if I'm on the right side of things now. All I know is the things that I am passionate about, things that I care about, are helping people with disabilities at this point. I know that this can possibly cure paralysis in the future. You put a Neuralink in the brain, put another Neuralink below the level of injury. So I have a C4, C5, you put it at, you know, C6, and then it bypasses that gap in the spinal cord and it directly speaks to each other and you'd be able to move again. I mean, they're already working on things like this, and that's what I care about. The other stuff is, I don't want to say it's not my concern, but it's kind of not what I'm worried about at this point. We're not there, the technology's not there. That's for much smarter people than me to tackle in the future. I'm confident that, you know, Neuralink is, as humans, Neuralink is a tool for us to utilize. It is not something that I believe is going to take over. I'm not really worried about brain control stuff. I understand that it's a possibility, and I understand people talk about this like science fiction stuff, and maybe it is going to happen at some point. I think that's a bridge we have to cross when we come to it. I don't have really the answers for it, but I have faith that we'll figure something out.
What's been your favorite part of the Speed Chess Championship so far, the whole trip, the event?
I mean, honestly, just being able to watch the games live has been awesome. You gotta love the drama going on. I mean, it's so much fun to watch. It's great. I think watching Alireza yesterday was just so much fun. It was so much fun watching him kind of in the nicest way possible, like dismantle Hikaru a bit. Like it's just very unexpected, and I love it. I love seeing that kind of stuff.
What'd you think of the Magnus Hans match?
It was good. It was good. I mean, I was hoping for it to be a bit closer, just because I think it would have really built up this like storyline that's going on a bit more.
Do like misclicks happen?
Yeah. So that's one thing that like I've been a little worried about. Like, am I gonna misclick something? It happens. It happens from time to time. It just depends on like how good my model is. So like basically the control I have right now is very dependent on like how my calibration goes. There are different ways to make like the control I have better. And so like I did some stuff this morning, which like with one of the Neuralink guys, it was like midnight or 1 a.m. there, and he was helping me. So shout out to Sammy, thanks man. Made it a bit better, so hopefully I won't get any misclicks, but it happens still.
All right, well, before I play Bishop, I want to ask, so
Oh
tomorrow,
no.
tomorrow you're making the first move in the Speed Chess Championship final. Do you want us to checkmate you before or after I answer this question?
Yeah, just get it over. Rip that.
We're gonna rip the Band-Aid off and then celebrate and talk about tomorrow.
I just realized.
And brings it to a close. It's okay. So we're gonna rip it off. All right, Nolan.
Yeah.
This has been great.
Yeah. Thanks for doing this, guys. I really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. Maybe we'll do something again sometime.
Yeah. Well, you really are an inspiration. Hope you know that. I can't wait to tell my kids that I met you and check out this interview. This has just been great. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you everybody for watching Hand and Brain.
Yeah.
In a way that has never been done before with brain power like no other over here. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you around.